Culture is an important element in any workplace. It gives businesses an edge over their competitors. It helps businesses to attract and retain top talent, and it encourages employees to bring their best selves forward for work each day. But are we seeing this today? Watch this video to find out. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are all doing really well. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I do a lot of career and personal finance related videos here on this channel, so if that's something of interest to you, then please do subscribe to my channel down below and be sure to follow me over on my Instagram page as well. Now, as you can tell by the title of today's video, I want to talk about workplace culture and whether there's any loyalty anymore at the workplace, and I want to be sharing a little bit of my learnings and some of the stories I have heard from my one-on-one career coaching. So let's get started. So from my personal experience and talking to my clients one-on-one, I personally feel loyalty at an organization does not exist anymore. Now, let me tell you why. Personally, for me and my experience, and from what I've heard from others, I feel employees, especially at a junior level, are essentially just an employee number, and there's really not much more to it. This may be a bold statement, and if you're hearing this for the first time, I do apologize. There's a bit of a trigger warning with this video, but I personally believe, especially during my time at the bank and at the Big Four consulting firm, I personally feel as junior staff, we are just an employee number, and if we ever question any ways, or if we want to get trained up, or we want to change the way that some things work, we are not really going to be heard. And if we ever do speak up, then there's a lot of times where we are potentially made to feel like we're going to lose our jobs. And for that reason, I say that loyalty doesn't exist anymore at a firm. We see many consultants, many accountants at Big Four firms that are laid off because they are not willing to train them up or add additional resources to help with the workload. We see this with Big Four audit consultants all the time. I know I've got fellow friends who are working audit jobs, and they tell me how bad the environment, how bad the culture actually is. And I've definitely heard of the horror stories as well. The reason firms don't actually invest in providing more resources for the organization is because they know that if they get rid of you, they'll be easily able to get someone to replace you. And that's why you're essentially just a number. And that's why we've got our employee numbers, and that's really what we are. And that is why we see a lot of times these Big Four consulting firms having a huge number of turnover each year. That's because they're not willing to put in money, invest in the organization, and really help out their employees that have really actually just been loyal to them and working late hours into the night, usually without pay, and helping the organization reach its goals at the expense of the employees' health and well-being. Now, we all know as well that if we ever speak up about this issue or we make it a concern, that we are at the risk of losing our own jobs, and we may not be, in a position to get that promotion at the end of the year. You may get the inclination that you are not fitted, or there is a change in mood or mindset within the office once you relay this information. I personally know as well, when I went through working at KPMG, I've done a video on this. I don't want to talk too much about it, but when I did relay my concerns about, being promoted to senior consultant, I just felt there was a massive shift in the vibe, in terms of the culture, very negative culture towards the end of it, and that really did it for me. And at the end of the day, I should not have put my emotions into this, but I did. I was young, I was junior, but this is a video for you guys to learn to not make the same mistake that I did, and definitely stand up for what you're worth and make it be known. Because at the end of the day, if you do go ahead and make your concerns known, at least you know that no one can really walk over you. You may lose your job, but there are other organizations that will be willing to accept you as well. But I know a lot of people usually keep quiet for the first 2 to 3 years just before they do get their CA accreditation, and then they decide to leave once they have got that. But personally for me, I feel that if an organization doesn't value your work ethic and doesn't value your health and well-being, is it really an organization that you actually want to work for? A question to just think about. Now, I also do receive the opposite, where I've heard clients say to me that they feel comfortable at an organization and they don't want to leave that organization because they feel indebted to the organization because that workplace was the first workplace that they worked at. They feel like their employer has taken them on and they were at their most junior level in terms of their career and had just started out, so they feel indebted to the organization for taking them in, training them up, and then feeling bad for potentially leaving. Now, do not feel bad. This is where I think you need to start becoming selfish and start thinking about yourself, because let me tell you, an organization can easily get rid of you and get someone else. The reason that they're just not doing it at the moment is because you haven't really complained about, increasing your salary. You haven't complained about the workload. You're just taking it in as it comes. But once you start making that noise and you start, questioning things, they may consider otherwise. So I think, speaking to a lot of my clients, they're in roles for about 5-7 years average. And I tell them that, guys, you need to leave that job. You need to start, leveraging your experience, learning new skills, working with new people, new environment, new technologies, new programs. And I think it's just so important to really, start testing yourself, step out of your comfort zone, because staying at an organization for 5 years is really not going to help you much, because you already know everything essentially inside and out. And the only thing that's changing is maybe a little bit more responsibility, which yes, will test you, but if you're in a different environment, it's going to test you even more. So I think, don't think about, that feeling of being indebted to an organization, because let me tell you, if they had the chance and you ask for a pay rise, they will most likely say no, and they'll start looking for someone else and brush it off like it was to do with possibly your performance. And I've definitely seen that happen as well. So yeah, definitely be vigilant and know what's to come, and be aware of your options as well. The only time where I see loyalty exists is if you are in senior levels of management. Even then, sometimes it doesn't work out. Usually if you are higher up in an organization, you do have a little bit of a say, but even then I would not really guarantee this. So this brings me now to some of the learnings that I have from talking to my clients, from my personal experience, from the experience of my colleagues as well. Once you've gotten what you needed from an organization, do not feel the pressure or the stress to stay at the organization. Feel free to move around, leverage that skill, and get another job which is not only high paying but also more responsibility as well, and a higher designation as well. There is no need to bring emotion into this at all. A lot of people are very much emotionally tied up with their jobs, and they feel that they are indebted to an organization, especially if they've been there for a very long time, and especially if they've been there during their junior years as well. A lot of people are really stuck in their jobs, and it's really not helping you. You do need to make a change. You need to change the environment for yourself to change as well. You can't stay within your comfort zone. You need to make a difference. Otherwise, you're not going to grow, and you're going to be pretty sad, miserable, doing the same mundane routine tasks that you already know how to do. Attempt to get upskilled and trained at your current organization at the expense of the organization. I know a lot of Big Four consulting firms have employee benefits or programs where you're able to take up higher education, and there's usually a quota per employee that you can actually take up to pick up a skill or pick up a degree. I know at KPMG there was about $7,000, $8,000 allocated to each employee. If they ever wanted to do their CA, you could do the CA. So definitely look into these programs and make the most of your time at an organization. If you're getting education for free, definitely take it up, move on, find another job, leverage your experience and your skills, and it is happy days. As good of an employee as you are, trust me, you also will not be spared. Keep your options open. Know that at any time, and have that feeling that at any time your job could go. You could be framed in that, your performance is possibly not the best, but in actual fact, the main reason may be that you asked for an increase in pay. So I think it's very important to not keep your eggs in one basket. And this is why I say to diversify your income. I've done so many videos here on my channel talking about the risk associated with just having a 9-to-5 job, not having investments. It's very, very risky. I don't know why you would do this to yourself. We've seen so many people lose their jobs during the pandemic, and I highly encourage you guys to look elsewhere. Make sure you are investing your money on the side because you want your money to grow faster than the rate of inflation. So that's it, guys. I'm going to leave this video here. It's definitely been a long one, but I really hope that you do take this advice on board, especially for someone that's been in a role for more than 3 to 4 years and are not seeing any progression. I highly encourage you to make a move, make a change, and think about yourself, be selfish, and make decisions for yourself that's going to benefit you at the end of the day. So that's it, guys. I'm going to leave this video here, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Thanks, guys.